What's up guys, welcome back to my channel, and today let's take a look at my new manifold setup. Alright guys, so here it is, my manifold setup that I just finished completing the past few days here. But before we continue, if you enjoy watching these videos that I put out, consider subscribing if you haven't, and like the video. That actually helps me out. And hit the bell notification so that you're updated when I put new content out. So alright, so let's take a look at this manifold here. So I believe in keeping things as simple as possible. Just so that things continue to strive within my tank and I'm not having to always fiddle with settings. So this came about when I needed to set up my calcium reactor because I plan to add an SPS, and I needed a way to feed the calcium reactor, and I didn't want to add in another pump. So I decided to just build a manifold, get it out of the way, get it completed, and then I could use one of these valves to control the feed to my calcium reactor. Alright, so again, 3 valves, one to feed the calcium reactor, one possibly for a UV setup if I decide to connect one in the future, and another one for the GFO or carbon reactor. I do have one running the top, and that is going to go to the ATO frag setup. In this design, I try to keep everything as compact and as neatly as possible, similar to my red Sea Reefer 350 design. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll put the link down in the comment section. But I had everything designed as compact as possible, making room for all the other necessary equipments. So for this setup, I decided to get rid of the Vectra L2. I had bought one of them, and then I bought the second one as a backup. But you know, these pumps are pretty pricey. It came out to about $1,000 for 2 pumps. And I just remembered with my L1, I had a few issues with those pumps. And so I decided to go the cheaper route, and so I sold these 2 pumps to a buddy. Then I picked up the J-Bow pump. So the J-Bow is a DCP 10,000. It's a little over 2,000 gallons per hour, and it's based on sine wave technology. Now I've had some issues with J-Bow, not the pump itself, but the power supply. So I figure worst case I could buy 8 of these pumps at least, compared to the 2 Vectras. But you know, based on how I have it set up with the unions, I can easily create a new adapter and slip in an L1 or L2 if I decide to change pumps in the future. One of the other reasons I decided to go with the J-Bow DCP 10,000 is because of its size. I do have the J-Bow DCP 13,000, but I feel like it's a bit big for the system. So I went with the DCP 10,000, and with that model it actually came with a 3/4 inch setup, the 3/4 inch coupler, and that's actually the size of my manifold setup that I'm using. Could have gone a bit bigger, but I wanted to avoid having to use reducers, so I went with the 3/4 inch. And based on the return pipe that Red Seed has, their pipe looks like it's a 3/4 inch going back to the tank, so I figured it would run just fine. Again, I went with Schedule 80 gray piping. I just feel like it looks more professional and it matches the Red Sea setup. Also, the Spears gate valve with the red knob also adds in a bit of a professional touch, in my opinion. But this whole setup took me a few weeks to design it out, figure out the positioning of the valves, where I'm gonna place certain things, and I thought about removing the ATO setup, but I really wanted it there so I can have a frag tank setup within my sump area. So that's why I have it set up this way. I have the valve sitting sideways instead of the other way, the long way. But I think it's gonna work out well with this whole setup. I'm still gonna work on the frag tank setup, and then I'll have a video on that and how I have it designed out. But if you have the Red Sea setup, something similar to this one, or the 750, I think this is actually a pretty good setup to have if you want to keep that ATO setup. But yeah, anyhow, I'll have another video coming out shortly if you're interested in designing something like this for yourself or for your setup. It may not fit yours perfectly depending on the pump, depending on the type of valves, and depending on the size of the manifold. But if you wanted something similar to mine, you can probably follow through with that video to get yours built. Anyhow, I'll also have another video with the frag tank setup coming out soon. I'm just waiting to drill it out and do some additional plumbing to get that tank set up. But guys, I just want to thank you guys for stopping by and checking out this video. If you want to follow me on this journey, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell notification button so that you're notified when I put out new content. And again, guys, I'll see you in the next video.